Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the In Between the Stitches podcast. I am your host, Brady Wilson, with the co-host, Chase Olswinger.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Yep, we kind of had to do some adjusting this month, with school, and he's, adulting now. It's a jam-packed month, so we might have some odd dates. I know, this upcoming week probably won't be recording again on Thursday, but do want to make sure that we get an episode in with all of the sports news that has been happening. We start, of course, with the Dallas Stars, who are 34, 14-9 heading into the Olympic break. They get about 2 weeks off for the Olympic break. Stars have 7 players playing in the Olympics. For Team USA, Jake Ottinger. Let's see who else. For Team Canada, Thomas Harley. Wyatt Johnston feels kind of like he got snubbed a little bit. Same with Jason Robertson. Let's see, Czech is Foxa. And then, of course, we have our
entire Finnish roster.
Yeah, the entire Finnish roster. Miro Heiskanen, Mikko Rantanen, Roope Hintz, and Esa Lindell, all 4 on the Team Finland. So it'll be fun. It'll be really great to see the Olympics. And, as someone that I didn't really catch on to the 4 nations last time, last year, I didn't really watch it because it was just, I didn't actually really know it was happening. And then it burst onto the scene, and so now I'm excited to watch the Olympics and I know, see the best on best. It's always fun.
And a nice way to go into the break too for the Stars.
Yeah. And if you look at the league, it's just crazy. We're a top 5 team, with 2 of the teams ahead of us being in our division. Colorado is point total 83 points, number 1. Tampa Bay Lightning 78 points, number 2. Carolina Hurricanes 78 points. Minnesota Wild 78 points. And the Dallas Stars, 77 points. And just for reference, us and Minnesota have the same record. It's just that they have 1 more overtime loss than we do. And they've actually played 1 more game. So that's, And we've played 2 more than Colorado, just to kind of put that in perspective, how good that team is. But they've cooled down a little bit the last few weeks, but the Stars had a really big cool down period before they've won their last 6 heading into the break. Their next game will be, I know it's at home because they ended at home, and I remember seeing that they're coming back and they're starting at home. It'll be February 25th against Seattle at home.
So 2.5 weeks off.
Yeah, and then you look at March. I mean, they have like 3 or 4. They have 1, 2, 3 back-to-backs in that month. It's a lot for hockey.
Yeah.
And then April, it kind of thins out a little bit, and then playoffs. So season's like 2/3 of the way over. It's kind of crazy to think about because everything got so jammed in because of the Olympics. We lost 2 weeks. Hopefully, we continue the momentum that we've been carrying. Matt Duchene's heating up. Jamie Benn's heating up. Robertson is, absolutely unreal. Hopefully, we're able to get him re-signed, and hopefully we're able to add something in addition to Jason Robertson.
Yeah. I don't know how likely it is. I've been talking about it over the last couple of weeks about just the possibility of being able to re-sign Robertson. I just don't know how likely that is because I don't think they're going to be able to. And I thought that they would potentially trade him at the deadline just because you try to get something for him, because if you're going to let him walk and free, and so you might as well try to get something for him. Still a great player, but that's under more years of control and a little less salary. So I don't know what they're going to do with that. Did the trade deadline pass for the NHL?
No. So what you were seeing was that it's a roster freeze. So there's no rosters are frozen right now because of the Olympics.
Okay.
And they don't want trades to happen. And then, so-and-so was an alternate, and then someone at the Olympics gets hurt. A team trades for him. He gets called up to play in the Olympics, and then he gets hurt.
Yeah.
Now you traded for a hurt asset.
Yeah.
That's not what you really want as a team. So the rosters are frozen. That was, the Rangers did move Artemi Panarin to the Los Angeles Kings for a very small return, and he took less money to go to the Kings. So it sounds like that's really where he wanted to go.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. I know Dallas was
LA,
in
I
on
guess.
him. Yeah, I know Dallas was in on him. I'm very curious to see what Jim Nill was offering, because I'd be willing to wager it was probably more than what they got.
I'm sure.
I know that Nill wanted Panarin as a rental, not as a long-term asset. Would have been really fun. But I'm still in on Nazem Kadri. I'm in on Blake Coleman. There's a couple other guys that I think the Stars they're going to make some moves.
Yep. Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to bring back Robertson. Going back to that, hopefully they'll be able to find a way.
I trust Jim Nill.
Yeah, and Jim Nill we trust. See if there's a way he'll do it.
Wish we could have that trust in every GM and for all of our teams. But again, carrying momentum. Everyone's really been playing a lot better. Thomas Harley's been playing a lot better. So we mentioned Duchesne. We mentioned Jamie Benn. Hopefully we'll see. I know that what they really wanted to see was if Tyler Seguin, because the new rules now, salary cap goes into the playoffs. So you can't go over the Mark Stone stuff with Vegas can't happen anymore. You have to, if you're playing the playoffs, you count towards the cap. And I've heard that Tyler Seguin is absolutely like last year with the hip. He's attacking the rehab. There is a pretty good chance. There's an outside chance that this guy plays in the playoffs for you. And you want to be prepared for that. You don't want to have to make a move and then, now you're over the cap and you've got to make some really tough decisions. But once we get Liam Bichel back, I believe that he's the last significant injury. We were really hurt there for a while. And I'm going to go ahead and just,
right.
Outside of Seguin, I think Bichel sounded like he was going to be ready to skate maybe the last couple games. They decided to hold him out. Totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Don't want him hurting himself. Definitely going to need him down the stretch. So I think the trade deadline, I think it's early March.
Okay.
Same as it is for what it was last year. Speaking of the trade deadline, we have to talk about the Dallas Mavericks.
Just a very entertaining deadline in general throughout the NBA.
For the NBA, and I'm very surprised that they already had their deadline because it feels early to have a deadline. Hockey waits a little bit more.
NBA is typically early February, so.
I'm just saying, sports-wise,
right.
It feels a little bit because you look at baseball, you have 2 months. You look at football, and you have a little under 2 months, with unless they get into the playoffs, right? About 2. We'll say 2 months. I think it's the first week of November.
Yeah.
But you look at basketball, and you have almost 3 months with the guy. You get an extra month with the player, which I think is interesting. But the Dallas Mavericks made a trade. Made a few trades, actually, I believe. But the big one that we need to talk about. And I want this to be clear that I put this out on Twitter that, it is nothing personal with Anthony Davis. None of the anger towards him was really about him.
No.
It was, and I read a tweet, and it was from one of the guys from the ticket, and I'm sorry that I can't remember his name, but he mentioned it, that it's every time we see that he's hurt. It was when the trade happened, it was like eating a big poop sandwich. And then every time we see AD is out for a game, it's like eating it all over again. Because it's just a reminder of what was taken from us and what we got back in return and how big that discrepancy was.
Yeah.
And I know you tried to silver tongue the AD acquisition, which was fair. It was valiant on your part, but it went about probably as expected. Didn't play in 5 consecutive games in his time as a Maverick. Total time with Kyrie was 20 minutes, 25 minutes?
Yeah,
and
it was great.
That's not Anthony Davis's fault. Kyrie got hurt too. But that just further adds pain to the whole thing. That's just, you had a finals team, and it's you've gone from the second best team in the league, theoretically, to now 2 years later, you're one of the worst teams in the league. And so, Chase, give us the details of the trade.
Yeah, so I'm just going to read it strictly off of, everybody saw it. 26 million views and counting right now, but the Dallas Mavericks are trading 10-time NBA All-Star Anthony Davis, Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, Dante Exum to the Washington Wizards for Chris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, Malachi Branham, who was eventually moved for Tyus Jones, Marvin Bagley, 2 first-round picks, and 3 second-round picks. Initial reaction was, I thought they would get a little bit of a better offer because they only got one young player in that trade. A.J. Johnson, who hasn't really been given a real shot. It's only his second year in the league. He was drafted by Milwaukee in the first round, moved to Washington in a deal for Kuzma, and then just kind of been going on off the bench and just hasn't really, Washington's been taking last year and this year, so he hasn't really gotten the real opportunity. Here in Dallas, he'll get a real opportunity, and he's a crazy athletic player, so I'm excited to see him.
I've seen the dunks on Twitter. He was he's like a big. He kind of reminded me of Dennis Smith Jr. a little bit.
Yeah, he's a crazy athletic player. But look, you look at his. People are saying, this guy sucks. You see this box score, and he averaged 2 points per game, but he hasn't been given an opportunity. And if he is playing averaging 2 points per game, it's in 10 to 15 minutes a game. I mean, there's no sample size there. But obviously the big deal was trading Anthony Davis. They actually went through with it, and them going through with it officially means that they are in the Cooper Flag era.
Yeah.
Because you very well could have just waited for Kyrie to come back, let AD give him extra time off.
He's out for the year now, so I mean.
Well, I mean, look, Washington's obviously trying to tank because they still have their pick for this year, so they're not rushing him back. But you could have very well waited for Kyrie to come back and seen Kyrie, AD, and Flag on the floor all together.
Just for 10 minutes.
Sure, it could have been for 10 minutes, but you just want to see, because if there's that slim probability of everyone staying healthy, how good could you be? There's that in the back of your mind. You maybe wanted to see how it looked. But Matt Riccardi and Michael Finley, the interim GMs, who, by the way, have done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Executed this trade, and it got exactly what they wanted and what everyone in the Mavericks organization needed. Not only, look, the picks they got was Oklahoma City's pick this year. So, look, that'll be 29-30, end of the first round, obviously.
But it's still a first round.
It's still a first round pick, and there's still lots of talent in the first round, even in the second round. We've seen it. It's obviously, there's talent throughout the entire draft.
It gives you a second chance this season and another first round.
Look, I mean, guys off the top of my head that I can think about that went 23, 25, 30. DeJounte Murray, Derek White. Those are two guys that immediately came to mind. I'm sure there's more. Obviously, Brunson in the second round, Draymond Green in the second round. I mean, obviously.
Wasn't Jokic a second rounder?
Jokic was a second round pick during the Taco Bell commercial. But I mean, there's just, I'm trying to think of end of the first round where the Mavs will be picking.
Oh, I know.
DeJounte Murray, Derek White came to mind immediately for me. That's all I can think about right now. I'm sure there's more. But it just gives them another opportunity to get a younger piece around Cooper Flag. And not only did they get 2 first round picks, 3 second round picks, just to load back up on a little bit of assets, they got rid of all the bad contracts. AD is expected $50 million this year. $58 million next year, a $62 million player option the following year, to where if he's still hurt, guess what? He's got a player option. He can just opt in and take $62 million. There's nothing he can do about it. The Mavs cannot afford to pay someone like that if they're only going to be playing 25 games a year. Yeah. You just can't do that. You can't fathom building around your franchise who you lucked into in a generational talent in Cooper Flag. You can't be paying a guy who's not playing that much money. Lucked. And yes, I saw that.
Lucked. Sure. Yeah. We'll use that term.
But
sorry, I know I threw you off
there,
but yeah.
You had to get out of that contract. Yeah. You extended Jaden Hardy this past year. You got out of that. Doesn't play anymore. You signed D'Angelo Russell to a 2-year, $14 million deal. He doesn't play anymore. You got out of that.
Yeah, he was terrible when he
Dante
played.
Exum, look, God bless him. He was a fine player next to, in the finals run.
He was the perfect, oh my gosh, do you remember this guy? Yeah. Oh, he's actually pretty good now. Look at that. Yeah. It was a crazy find. Again, when we talk about Nico, everything he did
was great
leading up through the finals was even
after
leading up through
trade, February.
It was, this guy is one of the best GMs in basketball. He convinced Clay to come here. This guy.
It wasn't him who convinced him.
What?
It was just knowing that you could play with. Would you rather play with LeBron and AD at the time in LA? Older. Or would you rather go to a team that just came off the finals run in Luka and Kyrie?
And really need a 3-point shooter.
And knowing that Luka is going to get you the ball whenever, because he'll get double teamed and he'll find a way to throw a backwards pass without even looking at you to a wide open 3.
That's who I feel bad for. I feel bad for Clay.
Yeah, and I was shocked that he didn't get moved. I was shocked that Gafford didn't get moved. I was shocked that Clay didn't get moved, because I figured that, Dumont, Finley, Riccardi would just sit down with him and just talk with him, saying, look, obviously we made a mistake. Obviously, you didn't want this. You didn't expect this.
Where do you want to go?
If you want to get traded, where do you want to go? We'll try to make it work. Either they had that and Clay said, look, I want to be here. I want to be in Dallas. I said, fine. We won't trade him. Or they never had a conversation with him. But I was surprised that he didn't get moved, because I feel like you could have maybe got him.
Second round pick?
Yeah. And if you wanted to send him to Golden State, you could have gotten the first out of that. Maybe, just because, Golden State. The fans would like it. That'd be a good money grab. So, fine, we'll throw you a first just to get our guy back.
In 2035.
Yeah, right. And then Gafford, backup centers in today's NBA is a huge necessity.
Yeah.
And we saw it with Lively and Gafford. We saw how good who came on the court, whether it was Lively or Gafford, you were going to get production no matter what. So I thought maybe you could get a first round pick for Gafford, but no, they didn't move anybody else outside of the big trade. And they flipped Malachi Branham for Tyus Jones, I like that move. That's a true point guard to be next to Flag.
Tyus Jones?
He's a true point guard. Yeah.
I know the name. So,
Yeah. But I mean,
I like
you got out of all this money. You have
cap space.
$150 million of cap. 70 million created just off this trade. But 150 million coming in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And obviously everybody knows the history with Dallas and free agents. Dallas doesn't sign free agents.
No, we don't. They don't want to come here.
For some reason. But look, when you have a 19-year-old looking to be a generational superstar on your team, maybe that attracts.
And Kyrie.
And
Lively when healthy.
And just a great fan base. I mean, you heard Najee talk about how, he didn't want to get moved. He wants to be here because of, he wants to be with Flag and he wants to be in Dallas. And he even mentioned, like, look, over the past year, out of all we've been through, the fans have still stuck with us, show up, support. Look, they still show up.
Chase, I've watched the games.
Yeah.
Like, there was a play where Flag had, like, this miraculous block, and normally the AAC would have blown the roof off, and, I mean, you could have heard a pin drop.
Well, look.
Nothing. I mean, that's the thing is, like,
obviously, when Nico was still employed, it was still...
This is... I know that the players can say that, but whenever I've seen clips of the games and there's been, like, highlight reel moments, there's not a big pop. It's just kind of like, yeah, okay, cool.
No, I mean, there's been, since Nico's been fired... I mean, before Nico was fired, yeah, sure.
Well, the pop came. There was a pop after that, but now that's kind of that momentum of look what we did. We got him fired. Let's go. That it's died, and like now, what's left is a bunch of fans that
I'm watching every game. It's loud.
I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying that from what I've seen, I'm seeing a noticeable difference in the excitement from the fans in the stadium. That's just me. Could be wrong.
Okay, I mean,
But especially compared to like me watching like every Stars game, and like you listen to that building with the Stars, it's night and day.
look, one team's a winning team. One team is unfortunately in a rebuild. Fortunately, though, this could be the fastest rebuild in the history of the NBA, just because of what you lucked into.
Yeah.
But look, long story short,
Say Luka's a free agent off season of 28.
28. Yeah.
2 more years. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, we'll see. But look, you got off of so much money, and you got assets. And they don't even have to use these picks.
Are there any big free agents this off season?
I'm sure there is every year, but I can't think of it off the top of my head right now.
I really thought they might try to pivot to Giannis.
Who, Mavs?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't possible.
I don't think we have the assets to go get him, but
No, not anymore. No, not anymore. But now with acquiring those 5 picks, you have assets. You don't have to use those picks on players. You can now, if you really want someone who might be at a really low asking price, look, here's a player and here's 2 second-round picks that we just got. That's a good return. That's a good return for someone if you have your eye on someone. But now, after this trade, it's been made official. And obviously, we knew it 99% before AD was traded, but now it's 100% official that they are moving on, and it is the Flag era. And we'll see how they build around him.
And I think it's more than just it's the Cooper Flag era. It's trying to buy, and again, it's not personal with AD. It's an organization that is struggling to recapture the magic of the fan base post trading global superstar, lucking into another one. But it just, I think for a lot of fans, it still feels, it's still too fresh.
Yeah.
It's going to take a couple years to like I still, if I'm watching SportsCenter and I see the Lakers are coming on, I turn it off. I don't want to watch it. I actively do not want to watch Lakers games. I do not want to watch highlights from Lakers games, because it's just, I don't like seeing it. It's just, I mean, maybe that's a bit of an overreaction, but that's just my reaction. I don't like seeing it because it's just a reminder of, I would probably argue, top 2 worst sports memory of my life. I mean, it's definitely top 3. I mean, you're competing with, and I know my dad's gonna be like, you weren't watching it live, Game 6, 2011. It's like, yeah, but I kind of feel it retroactively. I have watched the game, so like I do feel it retroactively. I'd probably say the worst moment of my sports life was the Des No catch. But I mean, if you look at the last 5 years, it's without a doubt the Luka trade. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's not only just the worst, just for us doubt. I mean, it's the worst trade in the history of sports. I mean, it's
at least the modern history of sports.
yeah. I mean, what if you want to say whether it was Babe Ruth for what? Literally,
For money.
an advertisement of something.
No. The Harry Frazee was the owner of the Red Sox at the time, and he also owned a theater. Theater was his first love. Baseball was his second. He owned the Red Sox.
Oh yeah, he bought. Yeah, he bought.
And
it.
he would sell off players. This is back in those days in baseball. You would trade players for players, but a lot of times you would trade money for players, right? It'd be like buying out their contract basically. And the Yankees sent Frazee $100,000 for Babe Ruth. He used it to finance a play. So there we go.
It's hilarious. But look, I mean, you ask someone now about, from any age, from our age to people in their 50s, 60s. Look, if they have any knowledge of sports, I mean, most people are going to say this was the worst trade of all time, Luka. I mean, and it probably was.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at it now, especially now that 80's gone.
I think Jamie Newberg was like, yep, they traded Luka for Max Christie, a couple players, picks, and cap space.
Yeah. And it's awful. It's awful. Especially for a guy who never wanted to leave.
Anyway,
But going on real quickly throughout the rest of the NBA, because there was a lot of trades who went on. There was some big ones. James Harden flipped for Darius Garland.
I know. I joked with I have several classmates that are big basketball guys, and I was like, "Yep, it's the annual 2-3 year tradition of James Harden." I said that there's a ritual that has to happen every couple years in the NBA, and I said I've noticed. They're like, what is that? I'm like, well, the first one is KD has to request a trade because he's been traded about 8 times now, I think, and then James Harden has to request a trade.
But James Harden didn't request this.
Oh.
No, this wasn't Harden.
Well, I don't care. Well, James Harden getting traded, it's a ritual as old as time in basketball. I've seen it about 100 times. So cool, good for them. Giannis didn't get moved.
Nope.
That was a big one. Obviously, Trae Young got moved a couple weeks ago, though.
While ago, yeah.
But still,
look, the Wizards are building something nice.
Hey, you know what? They are a franchise that most people don't even realize exists, so they're just trying to put themselves on the map.
I mean, they've had some young guys who they've drafted in Keyshawn George, in Alex Sarr.
What's what I'm saying is that they need something to get them on the map.
But like this trade deadline was weird. The Wizards, the Jazz, and who am I forgetting? I'm missing another one of a trade. I can't even think about it off the top of my head right now. It'll come to me eventually. But like the Jazz traded for Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
They have good pieces.
And Ja didn't get moved.
Ja did not get moved. I can't think about who the last trade was.
You're right. There's one more big trade that I'm not thinking of.
The Hornets, I think. Hornets traded for Kobe White after their Hornets on an 8-game win streak. They look good. They got young pieces. They've hit on their draft picks. They're trying to build now, and same with the Jazz. They've hit on their draft picks. They've got Lauri Markkanen. They added Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
They are trying. They're going to the Jazz and the Wizards at least. They're going to tank this year. They have their pick. You build off of your draft pick and who you just acquired, and you could look like you have a good team next year. The Wizards traded for Trae Young, Anthony Davis. They've hit on their couple draft picks. They're going to have a good pick this year. You build on that. So it's like there's these losing franchises are trying to take another step of a winning culture, and it's nice to see the Hornets, the Jazz, the Wizards.
Zubac got traded to the Pacers.
Yeah, Zubac to the Pacers.
Jose Alvarado to the Knicks.
Porzingis went to Golden State.
Kuminga.
For Kuminga, yep.
Yeah.
But Kuminga requested a trade for he's been requesting one for a while now.
And Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
Both got traded. I'm looking at trade rumors, trying to just see is there anything that I missed.
Nothing huge that we need to really cover.
They gave one of the new players 35, and all the comments were like they're disrespecting my goat Christian Wood. He needs to live. He needs to. live
Marvin Bagley.
Yeah, it was really, everyone's like, hey, they got the number. What was he the number 2 pick?
Yeah, he was right before Luka.
He's like, bro, imagine they got the number 2 pick. Like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Yeah, they were like, all this was trade up for Bagley.
Yeah. Anyway,
but no, a lot of it's a very drama filled NBA trade deadline. It was a really good trade deadline too. It was very entertaining.
It's always a great time for the sport to trade deadline. Hockey and basketball have caught up, and football. I mean, to me, the crown jewel of the trade deadline will always be baseball. I still think baseball has the best trade deadline ever.
Look, but if there's just tons of trades going on, I mean, each sport can have their.
At least baseball used to be when they didn't expand before they expanded playoffs, and that extra team could get in. Because now so many teams are like, well, I don't want to completely, get rid of guys because we might be, competing in the end of September.
Right.
But I don't really want to add guys because we might not be competing in September. So, but baseball still will probably the best trade deadline. Football used to be the worst.
No, I mean I like all trade deadlines. I think it's when they're active, it's fun to watch, knowing that something can happen any second. But yeah, I mean for the Mavs though, just recapping, just before we move on, good trade deadline.
Yeah,
they got out of contracts, they got money, and they got picks, they got assets.
Well. Thank you, Chase. Yeah. Moving on to the Texas Rangers. Again, pitchers and catchers report just in a couple of weeks, I believe. It's usually around February 17th, 16th, somewhere in there. Very exciting. I think the Rangers have built a pretty decent team. And I know people, and I want to go ahead and say, because I wanted to put this on like the chats that I'm in for like the Rangers. Andujar signed with the Padres for $4 million. And my dad was like, we couldn't have done that. I'm like, okay. Rangers fans, I think, need to learn something.
I said that too, by the way.
About how free agency works. It's not simply when you offer a guy, they automatically accept your bid. Okay? That's not how free agency works. You see, the player gets to choose where they go by the event of, and I guarantee you we offered him. There's no way we didn't. With the amount of interest that was reported we had in him. We probably offered him the same thing. I'm willing to wager that we probably offered him 1 year, $4 million. I bet you he felt like, or his agent told him, oh, by the way, I meant to play this for the Anthony Davis trade. Just forgot to do that. Sorry. It clicked in my head. That Miguel Andujar may have not wanted to come here.
Yeah.
Or he may have wanted, and I told my dad, I'm like, look, I bet you he thinks he has a better chance at playing time in San Diego. Gavin Cease is starting first baseman. They kind of have a spot for him, whereas for us, he would be a bench player.
He would just platoon DH with Jock when it's a lefty versus righty.
But even then, he can play some corner outfield. But that's I really think it was they told him, hey Miguel, his agent, hey, I think your best chance is San Diego. They're probably better positioned to win this year as well than the Rangers are. Whatever the case,
So then why not just make it 1 year, $6 million?
But it may not be about. See, Juan Soto kind of wrecked things when it comes to free agency, I think. And other free agents have done this before. With Juan Soto, it legitimately was the highest bidder. I firmly believe that if the, Chicago White Sox had offered him 10 years and $1 billion, he would have accepted. Right? I don't think he cared about where he was playing. I truly believe it was whoever bid him the most money. Right? Because New York was because the Yankees were just a few million off the Mets, and he took the Mets offer. So it was the highest bidder. Not every free agent simply takes the highest bidder. For some guys, for a lot of guys actually, it's, okay, what situation am I going to be in, right? What's the locker room like? What's the culture like?
And look, San Diego is a beautiful city.
Is this team ready to win? Do I want to win, or do I want to, if let's say that Miguel was like, hey, I want to go to a bad team, play really well, and then be traded at the deadline, right, to a contender, rather than start with a contender. Like that's something that he might have, wanted to do. It's not simply, the Rangers could have offered him, because we're not going to offer him like $10 million, right? We would probably offer him like, yes, maybe 5 or 6, maybe $7 million. Like, well, that extra $2 or $3 million is great, but I have a better chance at playing time in San Diego. If I play well there, they might want to retain me, right? Whatever the case, it's just, I don't think you can simply go, the Rangers getting outbid again for $4 million. I don't think it was we got outbid. I think he just preferred San Diego over us.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any. But that's just my take. I'm tired of Rangers fans complaining when we don't get a free agent that, well, they didn't want to pay the price. Well, it's not simply what it is. They may have just not wanted to, it's not exactly cut and dry. There's nuance to this. We did sign somebody that I think could be very interesting, and it's Ryan Brazier, 2-time World Series champ. Last time he was healthy, he had a sub-4 ERA coming out of the bullpen, so he hasn't really been healthy the last couple of years, but he's still he's from here, so he's from Wichita Falls, so he's from the area. I definitely am going to say he probably makes the team. As long as everything goes well in camp, he's healthy. I mean, I think that could definitely be like a high-end bullpen piece for you because he's been great in the past. I've always liked him. And when he's been healthy, he's been very, very effective. He hasn't lost that effectiveness. So very excited for that, actually. I know it's a minor league deal, but, low risk. See what he can do in camp.
Doesn't hurt.
I know they still kind of want to add a bat, but we'll see if they add one. I don't know. Right now, I think that they're pretty set in their starting lineup. It's just, do they want a platoon jock? Do they want to, There's just, there's different opinions on it. But still waiting on the season to come out. There's really no baseball news. Framber got signed. Detroit Tigers.
Speaking of Tigers, in Scooble's arbitration.
Scooble won. So everyone thought like, okay, they beat Scooble in arbitration, so they signed Framber. No, they're just going to go with a really stacked rotation for this year. That's a hell of a rotation. It's just that Framber is a bit of a...
In that case.
Yeah, okay, I'll let you say it, yeah. Crossing up your catcher that way, it's... He hasn't been... The players can't complain about him not being signed. The owners are being cheap. No, the owners and the GMs are scared that he's going to come in and disrupt the locker room. That's a legitimate concern with Framber Valdez. But would not have had him going to Detroit.
Mm-mm.
Detroit definitely. It's just kind of it feels like a weird signing, does it not?
Look, your 1-2 punch. Look, you're in a wild card game. Throw out Scooble game 1, Valdez game 2.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's the series there.
That's pretty good, right there. I feel similar with the Rangers. We throw out DeGrom, we throw out Evaldi. I feel pretty good.
Throw out Gore if you get a best divisional.
We got a stacked rotation. I'm very excited. And then Jack Leiter changed his number to his dad's number 22. That's kind of cool. Maybe it harnesses some of that energy. His dad was a hell of a pitcher. People our age don't maybe realize that Al Leiter was a really, really good, and for a long time too. But really, for baseball and the Rangers, it's just kind of wait until camp, and then we'll talk more about the roster, who might make it. We'll do preseason predictions. We'll look at what the predictions were last year and how bad were we, and they were pretty bad. I remember I had the Braves winning the World Series, so that was a pretty bad prediction.
I don't remember I had the Rangers in the World Series.
I think I want to go with the Dodgers this year, just to play it safe. The safe option. Have them three-peat before baseball shuts down for a year. Yeah. Anyway, moving away from baseball, unless Chase, you can think of anything that I missed in baseball. I really don't think that I missed anything.
Not that I think you covered everything.
I think I did too. Well, been a lot of football news, but we're going to start with usually we start with the Cowboys, but because it's kind of a special week or special in the next 24 hours, we're going to start with the Super Bowl. Both teams.
Congrats to you as well on this.
Oh yeah, I'm going to win the season, so
I had no choice but to go against. Yeah.
Actually, it's funny. You don't have to go against me now. You can agree with
me. Well, no, it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, I know who I'm taking.
So it's exciting for the Super Bowl. Our teams aren't in it. Look, my second team is the Patriots because of my Seth, best friend. He's if you haven't seen the show, he's been on the show a couple of times. He's a Pats fan, and I'm gonna watch with him. So I will be rooting for the Pats. I am one of the weird outliers that didn't hate the dynasty. But that's just hey, there's outliers everywhere. I was definitely an outlier. But if the Seahawks win, I personally will not be angry. I do like the Seahawks team. I think it'd be cool for Sam Darnold to get a Super Bowl win. First one from that 2018 quarterback class to win that Super Bowl.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
There's some guy really, Cooper Kupp. I was previewing it with Seth. And I was like, man, you know what? I'm like, if y'all lose, I really hope Cooper Kupp wins Super Bowl MVP. Because that in the modern era, right, there aren't too many quarterbacks, non-quarterbacks that won Super Bowl MVP, and he's won 2 of them.
Right.
He's definitely a Hall of Famer at that point. That's insane.
Yeah.
For a non-quarterback to win Super Bowl MVP. But very excited. Look,
excuse me.
Seahawks on offense, we'll preview it. That's a heck of an offense. I know Seth can Seth can love his defense as much as he wants and thinks that his defense is the second coming of the 85 Bears. However, this Seahawks offense is really, really good. They are potent. They are the most potent offense that they've faced in the playoffs so far. So it will be a test. Now, I know, they can run the ball. They've got 2 good running backs. They've got 3 really good receivers. I'm blanking on who their tight end is because I know he's pretty good.
AJ Barner.
That's right.
Well, remember, Charbonnet's out, so it's just.
Charbonnet is out. So, okay, you've got Kenneth Walker and is it?
But look, Walker's the workhorse. It's Super Bowl.
He's a great back.
It's the Super Bowl. You get him 30 carries if you have to.
Their O-line, fantastic. So, offense, and then obviously the incoming Raiders head coach, Clint Kubiak, is their offensive coordinator. Defense, led by head coach Mike McDonald, leads a great defense. Nick Emenwari will play. I joke, I would like if they're going to shoot it up with some, Area 51 stuff to make sure that this guy can play, because he is an alien. He is their, he is the thing that makes that defense really go. And Matt McDonald goes from Kyle Hamilton in Baltimore to Nick Emenwari in Seattle. It's just a perfect fit. They also have DeMarcus Lawrence and Leonard Williams and Boye Mafe coming off the line. They've got Reek Woolen, and I'm blanking. They've got Devon Witherspoon, and I'm blanking on their corner. But
Kobe Bryant?
Kelly Bryant, yeah, I think so. So just really a solid defense top to bottom. Not a lot of weaknesses there. They can stop the run. They stop the pass. They can get after the quarterback. They
are just easily the most complete team. From special teams, having Michael Dixon and Jason Myers, but 2 of the best at the position.
Hold on. New England with Marcus Jones and special teams. Like he's an all-pro. He's an all-pro
Shaheed.
special teamer. Shaheed, I will take Marcus Jones over Shaheed.
Just saying,
I'm just saying
they are the most complete team.
We'll get to New England. Pretty good offense, right? I think that the thing I trusted most with their offense is actually the guy calling plays. Was it 4-time champ? And he won 3. I don't know if he was on any of the 2000s Patriots, but he was on obviously 14, 16, 18, Josh McDaniels. Fantastic.
OC of the year.
OC, well, not even that, just assistant coach of the year.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Coordinator of the year. Fantastic. And I think they should make an OC and a DC one.
I think so, too, yeah.
But McDaniels, fantastic coach. Been in a lot of big games. You trust him, right? Drake May, we'll see how he handles the big spotlight. Their running attack, Ramondre Stevenson, Trayvon Henderson. I mean, you're talking about, again, 2 really good running backs. As long as Ramondre's not fumbling.
Yeah.
Receivers, they're a little lacking here. Stephon Diggs, he's a little older. Kayshon Boutte, he's pretty good, but he's not. I'd probably take, and Seth would probably vehemently disagree with this, but I'd probably take all 3 of the Seahawks receivers over any of the Patriots receivers. I mean, that's just,
Probably not over Diggs, but
I still would. I'd take Cooper Kupp over Diggs. Because to me, Kupp and Diggs are very comparable. They're kind of older. They've lost maybe a step. They're still pretty good. They've gone from all-pro elite to just pretty good. So their strength, their struggles is the O-line. Hunter Henry, tight end, is good tight end. They struggle on the offensive line. They've got 2 rookies on the left side. Will Campbell's had his struggles this year, especially with really good edge rushers. They're fine up the middle. Michael Owenu, Morgan Moses on the right side. Garrett Bradbury at center. They're fine in the run game. Pass protection, they've struggled, especially off that left side. So I'm looking for Mike McDonald to get some blitzes off that left side and overwhelm the 2 rookies on the offensive line. Jared Wilson's at left guard, if you didn't know. He was the center in Georgia last year. So, Seahawks, their strength is their defense. New England, their strength is their defense. So it'll be, weakness. It'll be strength on weakness for both teams.
Yeah. But then you compare the offenses, and one's here, one's here.
I agree.
So,
you look at that New England defense, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about they're the best run defense in the league, right? Especially when they've had Robert Spillane and Milton Williams. When they got hurt, their numbers went down. When they came back, I don't think they've allowed like Seth is taking the under in every. He's like he doesn't even think Kenneth Walker's going to get 50 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that running defense is really good. The pass defense should also not be slept on. You've got Christian Gonzalez. You've got Carlton Davis. You've got Marcus Jones. Craig Woodson at safety. I'm blanking on their other safety. Obviously, Robert Spillane at linebacker. I'm blanking on the other linebacker. And then defensive line,
I know it, but I can't think of it.
Yeah, Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, probably one of the best defensive tackle duos in football. Definitely rivals what maybe the Cowboys have. Kind of crazy to say that we're in that conversation, but we are. Caleb on Chason coming off that edge. I mean, they, and then Harold Landry, they're a phenomenal football team, especially on defense. They got Mike Vrabel, great head coach. You know, it's gonna be a good game. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I think it's gonna be a good defensive ball game. But give me Seattle.
Yeah, I have two scenarios. I have, like you said, close game, just defensive battle, or Seattle wins by like 14. I think that I think Seattle is just too good of a team for what New England has seen. They have not had a tough opponent all year, it seems, and they've been getting knocked. I mean, I'm not knocking them for it, but they've had a very easy schedule. Not that I have control over it. They don't have control over that, but they haven't had a real test this year.
I'm gonna say,
and especially even in the playoffs too, going from Justin Herbert to C.J. Stroud
but here's the problem with that
No Bo
argument.
Nix.
Here's the problem with that argument. Yes, they faced offenses that weren't playing well. They also faced some of the best I mean, they have gone through. If they beat the Seahawks, if you were to poll an NFL fan, name the top 3 defenses in the league, you'd probably, in some order, name it Broncos, Texans, Seahawks.
Yeah.
And guess what? The Patriots are going to have to go through all 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go ahead and stop the narrative that they haven't beat anybody. Number one, they've beaten NFL teams. I never really like the strength of schedule argument because
they have no control over that.
You're not beating UL Monroe and IUP and Appalachian State. You're not beating teams that aren't even in your division, right? Your level of play. You're playing other NFL teams. Like, yes, there are teams that are not very good, but they're still NFL teams. Even the worst NFL team, the Las Vegas Raiders, would beat the living crap out of Indiana. And it's not even close.
Mm.
So I never have liked for any team, right? With the Eagles, I would say things like they're not beating teams very well, right? They're like I felt the same with the Broncos. They're squeaking out wins. They're not really beating teams. They're just finding scrappy ways to not lose. But I'm fine. I'm taking Seattle. I'm going to take it 20-13 the score. Bunch of field goals, a few touchdowns for each team, a couple touchdowns. So, but it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I think we've covered everything with the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now
I'm looking forward to it.
We'll move to really nothing else for
nothing
football,
with the Cowboys, really.
But just the interview came out. We had no coaching hires. I want to talk about that.
Oh, well, also just NFL honors. Stafford
NFL
MVP.
honors, Stafford MVP makes a lot of sense.
It was close though.
It was by one vote. We were this close to a co-MVP. Very exciting for both of those guys though. The Drake May was year 2 already on this thing, and then of course the Hall of Fame class.
Darren Woodson did not get in. Jason Witten did not get in. Unfortunate.
But Drew Brees deserved. Roger Craig. There's an argument for and against. We'll move on. Larry Fitzgerald.
Deserved.
Absolutely. Luke Kuechly. I mean, sure. To me, Luke Kuechly is the Sandy Koufax of the NFL, of the modern NFL. Yes, he didn't play as long. But you it would be hard to argue that another player had a better prime. Any player. His prime, unreal. Absolutely unreal. Adam Vinatieri, very deserved. Of course, only a few kickers. Morton Anderson, Gary Anderson, and George Blanda in the Hall of Fame. And but that's it. That's your Hall of Fame class.
Yeah.
And but I'm cool with that class. Very very exciting. Obviously, the whole Belichick stuff. We talked about that last week. I kind of had a little rant about it. They got some good reviews from Seth and some other people that I showed it to. So, hopefully, Witten, and I looked at next year's class. I think the big locks are Richard Sherman, Rob Gronkowski, Big Ben, maybe Antonio Brown. They're probably gonna give AB the TO treatment. Yeah, and then who's the other one? Adrian Peterson. Did I name him? I don't think I did.
I don't think you did.
There's some other intriguing candidates. There's some guys that are returning, like Darren Woodson, Jason Witten, Terrell Suggs, Marshall Yonda, that are very deserving of the Hall of Fame. So, every year they let in a trickle. It happens. Can't let everyone that deserves it in. That's just the way it goes. But very exciting for the Cowboys. New coaches.
It's awesome. You know what? Before you go on, it's just kind of it's so refreshing that they're letting Shoddy and Parker do what you want to do.
Well, Nick Harris had a fantastic article about this, and he was talking about how Jerry is admitting that they're changing what they're doing. We actually have evidence that they're changing what they're doing. This isn't like, the Cowboys they're
saying
changing.
it.
No, I can point to actual evidence, not like, oh, I'm pulling at strings here. No, the Dallas Cowboys are actually doing things differently.
Well, you're not 100% yet.
And the reason for this, at least for the coaching staff, the reason for this is because they let Shoddy pick his offensive staff. They said, we trust you to pick your offensive staff. You've got connections and people, but we're picking your defensive staff because we don't trust you on that front yet. And they picked buddies, and it didn't work. And and Jerry had a quote where he's like, I saw the cohesiveness of the offensive coaching staff that Shoddy put together. And so he's earned the right to put together a defensive staff, and hopefully we have similar results. They brought in Christian Parker as the defense coordinator. Who else did they? Let's see. They've brought in Ryan Smith, the Arizona. They were one of the actually they were probably the best passing defense this past season, and they brought in their corners coach. They brought in my favorite hire is definitely Marcus Dixon for the defensive line. Been with Brian Flores, been with the Denver Broncos. Definitely is going to understand. Can marry the front.
What's his name? The Georgia linebacking coach.
I'm not going to.
It was a high abbreviated name.
Yes,
but yeah.
But very very excited for that because
That's
Shoddy
new.
likes going to the college ranks to find coaches. They just hired Will Muschamp's nephew to be. I think he was a quality control coach for the Chargers this past season on defense. They hired his last name is Muschamp. I think it's Robert Muschamp.
I think that sounds right.
So he's the nephew of Texas defensive coordinator Will Muschamp. There was a couple others that I think signed. Derek Ansley from the Packers to be our passing game coordinator, probably like a DB's coach, kind of oversee some things. The one last one is it's going to if they sign an inside linebackers coach and who the run game coordinator is going to be. I still think that it might be Zach Orr. Which if it's Zach Orr, I mean.
As a linebacker coach?
This is an A+ staff at that point. It's already probably an A- staff just because there's some unknowns. But you know what? They took some swings in the offseason with guys like Connor Riley from the coaching ranks, Junior Adams. They took the Oregon receivers coach, and they liked the way things worked, so they're pivoting to some college experience. Most of the coaches I think on the staff have college experience at this point. They definitely Shoddy seems to like that type of pipeline, which I think makes some sense. But I'm very excited for the coaching staff. I love what they're doing. Just got to get the players now.
That's what we're all waiting for. That's what I'm waiting for. You know that.
And they're saying that they're going to try to look.
CD's out there saying that he'll restructure his own contract if it means bringing back Pickens.
Okay. Here's the thing. He doesn't really have a say of whether or not we restructure it. We can.
Yeah, but I bet. And then Dak saying that at the Pro Bowl when he was interviewed by, I think was it Clarence Hill?
Yeah, I think so.
Dak was saying, "Look, if I need to get involved, I will." You like hearing that. Hopefully, he's not, just saying what we want to hear and bluffing. Or look, if there's any speculation that Pickens might not be back, if I'm Dak, you got to go in that office and make sure it gets done because it needs to get done. If you are a serious franchise about trying to win, Pickens needs to be back.
I agree. Well, thank you guys for watching. We will obviously next week be recapping the Super Bowl, and since football there'll be kind of a dead period there. That's when we'll talk about all the coaching hires because I want to wait for the dust to settle on some things before we really start to dig into it. That's why we haven't really talked about it a whole lot. It's been a really weird cycle with Jim Schwartz resigning as the Browns DC, and where does he go? The Eagles lost their I'm blanking on his name. I really wanted to say his name, but I'm completely.
I'll look it up for you because I know because he's been there forever.
Yeah. Good for us. They're losing their guy.
Yeah.
But very excited for next week's episode. Very excited for the Super Bowl. Hope everyone enjoys. Look, I'm not the biggest Super Bowl party guy, mostly because you get a lot of people that don't watch football the entire year.
Jeff Stoutland.
Yeah, Stoutland. And now they're watching football the one time a year, and they say ridiculous things. I do think that it should be a federal crime to say the word sports ball in a serious way. I'm saying it in a way that but and to try to piss off sports fans if you use the term sports ball. I do think you should be thrown in federal prison for that. I think that's a hate crime, a crime against humanity. I think maybe. I think
make it a law.
I think there's something in the Geneva Convention that says that we shouldn't be able to do that. But hope everyone enjoys the Super Bowl, and we will see you guys next week.
See ya.
See ya.